If you ever feel like you're working too hard but not moving forward, it's probably because you're working at the wrong time of day. I'm Kevin, I make indie games, and I'm about to release my third one. Here's what I learned by getting more done by doing less. There is this concept that's going to help you a ton in basically all aspects of life and productivity, but we can apply it to game development as well if it's your priority in your life right now. And that's this metaphorical concept of brain points. So you can imagine your brain has like a certain amount of energy that it can like spend throughout the day. You can spend mental energy on everything like making a coffee, going to work, going to school, talking to your friends, talking to your family. Everything that requires a level of cognition of you is going to like spend a certain amount of brain points. So as the day progresses and you do more things, then your brain points is going to drain because you do a lot of different small things that's going to require something of you. So you can try to imagine the difference between these two. The first scenario is that you work on game development in the evenings after you have done your day job or gone to school. You work on game development after that and you've done like 1000 little things that has required something of you. Like you've talked to this one friend, you talked to this family member, you have like done your work tasks, your school, your homework, like brush your teeth, everything that requires some level of cognition has like required some amount of brain points from you. Let's say you wake up with 1000 at the end of the day. In the evenings when you are sitting down to work on game development, you probably have like 50 brain points left. It's not going to be a good session for most of you guys. And then compare that scenario when you work on game development when you have the least amount of energy in your brain. Compare that to working in the mornings when the only thing you did that day was bring the coffee, bring the water, and you sit on your desk. That's going to be an awesome session because your brain is going to have 100% of its energy that you can allocate to game development. And obviously, you're not going to spend like all your brain points on game development, but most likely your day job or your school isn't going to require like the same level of cognition as like something that like game development would do, like learning game development, because learning is hard. And when you go to school, you're basically listening to the teacher and using ChatGPT or whatever your school or job might be. So most likely, if game development is your priority, you should do it in the mornings and prioritize that instead of like work or school, which basically just means to do it earlier in the day. And I said for most of you guys, you won't have a good session like late in the evenings. Like for everyone that I've spoken to, everyone inside of Smart Indie that I've spoken to, and like me personally, I find that the mornings are much better time to work than the evenings. But if you are like some evening person that like functions very well in the evenings, then you can go for that too. But I'm sure for 99% of the viewers watching this video that the mornings are going to be much better because like the general just mechanic of our brain is that it works the best after it has rested, which only happens once you sleep basically. And the other like secondary thing about working early in the mornings is going to be that you have minimal external distractions. So no one is going to come into your room, talk to you. You're not going to get like a lot of messages because most people don't wake up earlier than they need to before they go to school or work. So for me, a personal example was when I went to school, I'd wake up at around 6 a.m. and I'd work for 1.5 hours, I'd eat breakfast, and then I'd go to school. So that's like locked in, 100% good session because I have a lot of energy before I start a session because I've just woken up, I haven't done anything else that has drained my energy. So it's going to be a good session, and once I'm done with school, I know that I've already done like the most important thing of the day. And when I went to work, what I did was that I worked from 5:30 to 9 a.m. because then I started a bit later. So just work once you have the time. Like obviously you need to change your schedule to wake up earlier, but try to make it realistic and something that you can actually follow. And a great tip, like this is an awesome tip that I'm going to give you, I just did it, is that you should fast. Like you shouldn't wake up and eat breakfast immediately. You should fast. Your brain's going to work much better once you do that, at least for me and most people. You should fast and you should have a coffee if you drink coffee. If you don't, that's obviously fine. But if you drink coffee, then you should try coffee with what we call MCT oil or butter. Because once you're fasting, then obviously your energy levels can go a bit down. So that's why I recommend that you use like MCT oil, which is going to give your brain energy without spiking your blood sugar, which is something that a meal with like bread or yogurt, whatever it might be, is going to do. those things are going to spike your blood sugar and it's going to decrease your brain energy. So MCT oil, that's the best, or butter, or both. Have that in your coffee. I know it might sound weird, but it's actually a concept, like it's called a bulletproof coffee, I think. Go search up, totally normal, doesn't taste weird, honestly. It tastes kind of good, actually. And you can also use some milk if you want to. I do that as well, doesn't matter. So now we're going over that, but another very, very important thing to cover when I'm like making a video about waking up early and being productive is this concept of eating the frog. And you can also search it up if you want to like have a more thorough explanation of it. But eating the frog basically is this concept that if you had to eat a frog and you're going to have dinner, would you eat the frog before or after the dinner? And the correct answer here is going to be before the dinner. And why is that? Well, it's because when you're eating dinner, the only thing you're going to think about is going to be, oh, after this meal, I have to eat the frog. And it's going to be so disgusting and it's like slimy and it's going to be horrible, right? You're not going to enjoy the meal at all. Whilst on the opposite, if you actually just ate the frog before the meal, you would eat the meal and you wouldn't have to think about the frog because you've already eaten it. And you would like rinse it down and you would get like new flavors in your mouth. Just eating the frog immediately, not delaying the task, even though it's the easiest because that's how we are. We want to like avoid pain. Even though it's going to be harder to eat the frog, you should do it early. And why does this apply to game development and productivity in general? Well, we can translate it like this. So the frog here is going to be your most important task. The task that's going to be hard is going to require a lot of cognition and thinking of you. That can be, for example, learning a new concept, doing the most important thing in your game. So for example, making a new system in the game, like something that's hard, but it's very important that you do and it's going to give you the most progress. So if you are a beginner, that's going to be experimenting with something new. And if you are a bit more advanced and you're making games like me, then this is going to be the most important task of your game. So the thing that's going to move your game forward the most. So what you do is that you do the most important task first, like early in the day. Immediately when you start working in the morning, what you do is the important task. You get done with that, however long it takes. And then if you have extra time, what you're going to do is that you're going to do the smaller task only after you've actually completed the frog task, which we call it the frog task, the most important task. And then later in the day, if you have time, you do less important things like polishing, you do concept overviews like study, whatever it might be. And if you just apply these two concepts, waking up early and eating the frog, you're going to make so much progress. And like this productivity advice is everything that Smart Disney is built upon. So if you want to have access to all of that, then click the first link in the description and it's going to help you a ton. So thank you for watching this video.